How does it go? Blood on your face.
Big disgrace.
Big disgrace.
Ain't nobody, blah, 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 blah,
Then
blah.
over there.
All right, is the lighting good?
Will we?
All right, what's our intention
I
right
feel like
now?
we need to like look at each other and talk to each other.
Well, what's the intention for today?
For the
Right
talking
now.
to each other?
Yeah. Let's put the vibe out, you know?
I think like
You want me to close that way? I want the sign in the middle.
yeah.
Yeah, I got it. I'm just trying to.
I think like getting people to see more fun parts of our personality that aren't necessarily like directly marketing our products.
Yeah, as you're eating a YoBe.
As I'm eating YoBe, and then
How
also
is
show
that?
basically
How is
later.
that one?
It's great. It's my favorite.
It's the matcha. We got new packaging. All right, guys, my name's Hawkins Golden. This is the YoBeAwesome podcast, episode number 1, numero uno, with one of my numero uno best friends in the entire world, Miss Victoria Tori Brodsky.
Woo! Insert a bunch of claps right here.
You can clap too back here. All right, cool.
Thanks, guys. Hi.
So, how are you doing today?
I'm actually so. Can I cuss?
Do whatever the fuck you want.
Fucking awesome. Today's like a fucking awesome day.
Yeah,
I would
why
say.
is it awesome?
I just like got it's so silly because like you know like our days are not like super.
Predictable?
Sometimes they're like not like super exciting, and then other days they're like really cool shit that you want to talk about goes on, but like a bunch of stuff that I wouldn't necessarily like other people I don't find cool, but I'm like I just got a bunch of shit done that like I needed to get done that nobody really cares about, you know?
So what is like one thing nobody cares about? Let's hear it.
Okay, so like when you have an alcohol company,
Oh, you have an alcohol company?
yeah.
Well, we gotta hear about that at some point. But
Besa Mi Vino.
oh, wait, let's hear it.
organic
Let's finish your
canned
story, and then
brand.
let's properly
Okay.
introduce this.
So,
when you
when
own an alcohol
you have an
company-
alcohol company,
Okay.
and you guys have probably seen
When you
this,
have
like
one.
outside, like an establishment, they'll put a sign that says, like, you know, alcoholic beverage control, like United States, like California, whatever, like this company, all written in like big black ink, like it's very unofficial looking.
It's like the
At
license.
No, it's not the license. It's a notice, like a formal government notice to allow an alcohol company to reside in that space. So, for example,
It's a liquor license.
it's a notice to the public that you're applying for a liquor license.
That they're applying. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's a little bit awkward because we have like a small office space like in West Hollywood. And so it's like a co-working space. So outside this giant office building, I had to put this like tiny little,
Oh, because you are the one.
because like
applying.
our unit in that office
is applying.
is applying. And so it's like Besa Wines Inc.
Is this with the LA City or like California?
No, this is with California. And so anybody who walks past it can legally like
show up at a board meeting.
and basically say like we don't want them to operate
Yeah, these
here.
girls are too hot. They're drinking too much wine. It's a total nuisance.
Is
to the
that
city.
just what basic girls are known for?
Yeah, so that's how I see Besa girls. So why don't you talk about Besa that isn't just girls, it's for everybody. Like, what the fuck's a Besa?
Okay, so Besa started as just an organic wine company. Our newest product, however, is our canned hard seltzer made with organic
Fire.
wine. They're so good.
What's your favorite flavor?
Citrus. Did I bring you
This
citrus?
is one.
Yeah.
Citrus.
I have others that'll like be,
Sparkling peach.
I'll open up in the fridge,
Yeah.
but they're chilling right now.
We'll just keep this up. Keep talking about it.
So, well, what do you want to know about it?
Well, so is it all sparkling seltzer? Or is it like, what else is
So we have 3 canned organic wines. We have like a white, red, and rosé. Those we sell all across California, mostly in like stadiums, golf courses,
Stadiums.
places near like
Hard
the
flex.
beach, that sort of thing.
Just stadiums.
And well, not like all the stadiums because
mean,
those require
Yeah,
really big
the only ones
sponsorship.
with a big capacity. That's the only stadium.
We sell really well up at the San Jose Sharks, actually, like the NHL
yeah.
stadium. And we do really
that's
well.
in NorCal, right?
NorCal. We sell all across California.
Okay.
But like our canned wine, like was the original product. Like I took over the business from the original founders, and that was their original product. But I like those canned wines are like a glass and a half of wine in each can, so people get like really drunk really quick because they don't realize it's like pure wine. It's like 12.5% alcohol. So I wanted to make something that was less alcohol percentage but tasted really yummy and also still had the base of canned wine, because most hard seltzers made with the base alcohol of malt liquor, which is really hard to digest. It's really not like a clean product. So that's why we just took our organic wine and then combined it with natural flavors, a little bit of cane sugar and sparkling.
So it's a hard seltzer made with wine, as it says on the label.
Yeah.
It's all organic grapes, made in California. Never heard of that place. And it's low sugar, which we're a fan of. 5 grams of sugar, totally in that like Olipop poppy range.
Yeah, that one's 4, I think.
4? Okay, but whatever. I guess this one has 4.
Yeah, big deal.
Yeah, I don't really drink wine, but if I did, this would be the wine I would drink. Not because she'd hook me up, but because it's
mainly because I would hook him up, and also because it's really good.
It's really good, and also there's a lot of hot girls associated with it.
Okay, well,
should we talk about that?
I mean, I was
or
telling,
should we like go backwards and talk about how the fuck do I know you?
Oh, actually, yeah. Let's
like, who are you? Who? Like, yeah.
Let's do that. Actually, it is really funny.
Why don't you tell the story?
Okay, I'll tell the story. So during the pandemic, 2020, fall of 2020. So we're like 6 months into the pandemic or something like that. Hawk and I both start the MBA program at UCLA Anderson, part-time. So it's like, we go to school like
MBA program at UCLA. It's the Anderson School of Business.
Yeah, it's legit.
We're doing this Zoom shit.
Yeah, so it sucked because we started our first year off Zoom.
Awesome.
Honestly, I think it was kind of, okay, I'll get into why I don't, like, I have an unpopular opinion about this. I don't regret that first year on Zoom. Like, I'm totally fine with how everything, like, went about.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing.
I have mixed feelings about it, too.
So let me tell you, right?
Tell me.
Okay, so you and I met because I don't remember if you, did we have a class together? No, we met in Leadership Foundations, right?
No, I don't even think we met there.
Where did we meet then?
The internet.
Online. Okay, so whatever.
I think we met online first.
No, 1,000%. We didn't meet.
I don't think we met until you went to Hawaii.
We didn't meet in person to Hawaii. So
Shut
get
the
this.
fuck up.
No,
Wait,
literally.
I never met you until.
I didn't meet any of you guys. You guys knew each other. The whole group.
We through parties and stuff.
Yeah, so I remember I was in Florida. I was traveling. So during the pandemic.
I invited you to my birthday party thing, right? And then you couldn't go.
Hawaii was before your birthday.
I don't know. Okay, you're right.
Okay. So we start school. It's like August,
Girls
September.
remember everything. Just remember that, guys.
That's so true.
Don't.
I mean, when it comes.
Don't even try to remember. You're right. All right. So continue.
Anyways, we're all virtual, right? So. And when you go into these classes, virtual MBA, because it's COVID, we still can't, like, go out and do stuff. Everything's shut down.
Supposedly. I still do some parties.
Okay, yeah, you did.
Real estate office. I used to be a real estate agent.
Decided to, that's right. You were a real estate agent. I was consulting for a couple companies, and I was also running my own hydration beverage company called Drink Light.
Drink Light. Super good. I like that berry flavor thing, right? It was like nighttime berry.
Yeah.
What was it called? Midnight berry? Moonlight berry.
So, okay, back to how we met, though. You go into these Zoom rooms with like hundreds of people. Yeah. And then they get you into like breakout rooms of like 5 people.
I was in a breakout room with you?
I think we must have met in a breakout room or something.
I have a totally different
And then like literally, really?
Yeah, tell me about this breakout room where I was
I don't remember.
So remarkable.
I don't remember, but I just remember
obviously
meeting.
I wasn't in a breakout room.
Okay, well.
I feel like you would remember.
Okay, somehow I know we met on Zoom.
I hope she would remember, you know?
Somehow I know we met on Zoom, and then I remember afterwards you FaceTimed me. And I was like, this is a little bit odd that like
what do you mean? I FaceTimed you?
Yes. Okay, let me tell my side of
you? Yeah, tell your side.
Tell my side of the story, and then you.
I think you were. I remember the first time on a Zoom I met you, or first time on Zoom. I remember you were like chilling on a patio in Florida or something, wearing like some cheap ass sunglasses, kind of just being like, I don't want to be here vibe.
So,
And then I was like, oh, there she is, finally. I finally am like in a like place to interact, which was on Zoom. So I went in the DM on Zoom. Is that
maybe.
what I did?
I mean, probably, yeah. Probably went into the DM on Zoom.
For sure.
Like,
100%.
Where are you at? Why are you wearing these cheap sunglasses?
Yeah, that was probably my pickup line.
Yeah, that was
It's like,
probably the
those
move.
are cheap sunglasses. My favorite kind of sunglasses.
Whatever.
You never lose cheap sunglasses.
So
though,
during the
right?
pandemic-
Is that true?
What?
don't-
That's so true.
you never
I've
lose-
owned the same
Yeah.
shitty sunglasses for like
Connor?
10 years.
You got cheap sunglasses still?
At least some costume.
Cheap
Okay.
ones?
Every sunglass.
Only
feel
the
like-
expensive ones you lose.
I feel like expensive ones, it's like there's some law of nature that we need to study out there.
Those ones always end up in the bottom of the
Okay,
lake.
so you're on the Zoom,
Okay,
it's
whatever.
hot, it's outside. I remember that.
I left for Florida during this first like semester because I was like, fuck it.
Yeah.
I really don't want to like be in California. I was living with family. They were older. I felt like anything, going out and doing anything was like risking them. I was trying to be safe. So I went to Florida naturally, as one does when they're trying to be safe. No, I'm just kidding. So whatever. It was like a cheap like beachfront, and I had friends in Florida, and I was like, let's just go and like quarantine there for a few months. So I did that. So I missed any in-person things because they were like forbidden, which was basically just your
Yeah,
party.
you weren't supposed to talk about it.
Yeah. You weren't supposed to like publicize that you were like getting together because
Yeah, you didn't know what to invite because like people on Zoom.
people on
weird.
like people on no, it was on Slack. Like you would get like flagged if you like tried to get a group together because they were
You
so strict.
use Slack more than I did.
Yeah.
I'm not a Slack guy.
Okay, whatever.
Okay.
Zoom, DMs, and then one day you just randomly FaceTimed me.
Randomly, so it wasn't the same day?
You like no.
How'd I get your number?
Slack probably.
I
There's like a
I don't
roster.
remember any of this.
Yeah, you randomly
So
like
you
FaceTimed
finished
me.
the story.
You were literally like, you put your phone down here and then you went and like plopped down on your couch and you were like, what's up? And I was like, oh my God, who is this dude? But like,
Wait, tell me more about this. I want to
so like in the MBA program, at least this was my perspective. It's like everybody's there to just like meet and connect and like get to know people. So I took phone calls and I would like call people all the time. So like it wasn't totally out of like, it wasn't totally unnatural for you to like just FaceTime me and be like,
I'm
yo,
pretty
what's
sure I was
up?
like, hey, I'm going to call you or something, right?
Maybe.
She doesn't, yeah.
We could go way far back and look at those texts.
Okay,
but
well, I don't want to do that.
that's my memory of it.
Okay,
And I
so
was like,
I'm on
okay,
my
this-
couch, probably right here. I'm like, what's up?
Yeah, you're like, what's up? What's going on?
What's up?
Just being hawk.
Yeah,
And
it's a vibe.
that's when we started to become friends because then we were texting afterwards and you started to tell me about Hawaii.
Okay.
And
So
you were
then what
like,
happened with Hawaii?
you were like, yo, are you going to Hawaii for spring break? And I was like, I'm in Florida, like what spring break? Like what,
Yeah.
there's like an academic break, whatever, but I didn't know like graduate students did anything. And you were like,
do
yeah,
do
there's like a group going to Maui. And I was like,
It was my
where
group.
yeah, I was like, well, shit, I didn't get invited. Like, I didn't hear about this.
Yeah,
Like, what's
you were
going
mad
on?
at me after our first conversation, being like, why didn't you invite me? And I'm like, well, I've never fucking talked to you. Like, why would I invite you?
Well, again, I went.
You could be
and-
creepy. You could have been really
That's
creepy.
true.
You look
I
cute,
could have
but
been
you could-
creepy. Yeah.
You get
Maybe I
creep-
still am creepy.
You have creep vibes for sure. That's why we get along. We're both creepy.
We're both creepy,
We're
yeah.
both like, hey, what's up?
Creep. So well.
Well, Zoom
Interface
DM,
that
Zoom DM you.
I sent so many like.
LinkedIn DMs, they work.
I sent so many like Zoom DMs that just went unnoticed.
You
of,
were
like,
Slack
jokes and
DMing
shit.
king. I was not about the Slack. Okay, so
Whatever.
that's your story. So then, like,
So then-
you got mad at me because I didn't invite you after not ever talking to you ever.
I wouldn't say mad is the right word.
You were kind of aggressive. I kind of remember it.
Really?
It was cute to me, yeah.
Oh.
You were like, why haven't you invited me yet? I'm like, well, you're invited.
Well,
Like,
look,
why would I say
look.
no? Like,
Think about this. We're literally locked up. I mean, I go to like Florida for a couple months.
Yeah.
But, like I'm still with my same like 3 group of friends. I'm like desperate to see people.
Mm-hmm.
So like coming back, I'm like, I want to be invited to everything. I want to go to every event.
Yeah.
I want to see everybody because then like the vaccines, it was all good. Whatever, we had the green light. So I was like, shit, I want to go.
Yeah.
So, but the thing is that it was a group of like 5 people. And then you guys already knew each other.
yeah, they're
like
from
in
my
person
class, my
and-
section.
Yeah.
They're the homies. They're my
And-
homies.
I didn't know them. So I jumped into the group chat, and I'm pretty sure like me and Arena were the ones who ultimately planned the whole thing.
That planned what do you mean?
Like I found the hotel or the Airbnb that we stayed at.
Yeah.
And
you found that?
I think I found
I don't remember.
Yeah, because you guys didn't have like anything planned. You were just like, these days we're going.
I mean, the plan was to go to Hawaii.
Yeah.
That's the master plan. It's like the details are the details.
Yeah. So then we show up.
We fly.
We just fly into Hawaii, and like we all meet at Hawaii for the first. Well, at least for me for the first time. I remember I saw Lucas first.
Yeah, Lucas.
That was okay.
He works at Red Bull.
Have you traveled with other
our companies?
Adults? Yeah, Red Bull. Thank you. That would be so
This
great.
is sponsored by Red Bull.
Sponsored by Red Bull. Lucas is gonna be like, take that down.
They should pay us. Yeah. Okay. What did you ask me? What?
I don't know if you have this.
Have what?
This feeling I'm about to describe. When that first night we all flew into Hawaii.
Yeah.
We're like really tired, kind of grumpy. We go to the supermarket to shop for food. Do you remember this?
When I was wearing that weird hat? There was like a ghetto hat.
I don't remember that.
It was like, it was kind of gangster. Okay, whatever.
I don't remember. Okay, and I just remember
the fish place? We went to like a fish place, right?
Yeah. Immediately we went to a lot of fish places. But I'm talking specifically. We get in, we're all super grumpy. And it's kind of awkward because it's like at least I don't know you guys that well. Like you don't even know each other that well, right?
No, we hadn't actually like hung out that much.
Yeah, so it's kind of like 5 strangers who all of a sudden just go on like a 9-day trip together. And so
it was fun.
It was
9 days?
it was like 8 days, yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. The first night, we were starving, we were grumpy, we were all jet lagged, and we were like, let's go to the grocery store and shop. So we all go shopping.
Yeah.
Miraculously, and I don't know how it worked, we ended up going back to the Airbnb, making like a beautiful steak dinner together with like 5 different sides and salads.
I do remember
Sat down.
Yeah.
And just like, it was so synergistic and so peaceful. And I was like, oh my God, this is the best decision ever, just to come to Hawaii with these people. Like this is gonna be
everything's downhill after that.
No, it wasn't.
Best decision ever.
It was the best.
That's what I'm saying. Everything's downhill after that.
That's not true. Well, that was a great trip. Every single
that trip was sick. I would, if that could be my life for the rest of my life, I would be satisfied.
We should like insert clips from that trip here.
Hawaii.
That was our annoying little motto.
So I think we should go back to not just being a travel company. Hawaii discount 5% off if you tag the Tori and Hawk YoBe episode. But
Hawaii is one company.
So my recollection was, if you want my story, and I'm just gonna give unabridged. I remember like going on a computer, and there was some guy named Dylan who was like pivotal in me getting into UCLA because I had bad grades or whatever. And you were like doing a drive-by roadshow, whatever the fuck they're called. I don't know. And you were talking about being an entrepreneurial woman, starting your own company, CEO with Drinklight.
Oh, really?
And that was the first time I ever saw her. And I was like, damn, that girl's got it going on, and she's an entrepreneur. At the time, I was like going to UCLA, not sure what I wanted to do. And I was like, man, I want to be friends with that chick. I want to get to know her.
You were in real estate.
I was like still doing real estate, kind of like I went to UCLA to kind of figure out what my next path was. She was in the food industry. I had this idea this way over here. I think you're out of the frame. You can get closer to me. It's okay.
No, you smell. I'm just kidding.
Oh, wait. She's in the frame? All right, whatever. And I was like, shit, I should start my business. So before I ever interacted with you, I was like, I had this idea for years. And so then I basically was taking like yogurt and going to the Boardwalk of Venice during pandemic, giving it out, getting feedback from customers, iterating before I ever slid into like the Zoom DM, whatever, do your number.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So YoBe is her baby.
No.
It's her baby.
My baby?
Yeah.
I'm the surrogate?
You were the person that was like, all right, like, I want to be friends with this girl. This girl's doing it. Why am I not doing it? Did you see
Oh
that?
yeah, because on your couch, that is what you talked to me about.
What did I say?
You FaceTime me. Now it's all coming back to me. You FaceTime me
Yeah.
and you were like, yo, so like, tell me about your business thing because I have this kind of like stupid idea that I
Really
like,
stupid.
like that like came to me in rehab, and I was like, wait, this sounds like pretty legit.
Yeah.
I was like, actually, you know, like just kind of like
Yeah.
analyzing it from a business perspective. I was like, it kind of ticks all these boxes. Like because like if people come to me with an idea, like I've dealt with startups a lot, like if it's totally wild and just like doesn't tick any of like, you know, market trend boxes, like, you know, profit margin type stuff, like there's a lot of red flags that are like, I don't know if that business is viable. But I was like, dude, this business is like, if you actually want to go into entrepreneurship, would be like fairly easy to start. You've already started it, and you clearly are super passionate about it. Like the product market fit seems to make sense to me just from, you know, like one or two
Bird's eye.
conversations. Yeah. And so I remember being like, dude, you should just go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then she was like, hey, can I come to Hawaii? And I'm like, hell yeah, you can. Let's go.
let's go. And then we met in Hawaii.
Yeah. So Dylan Stafford, shout out. You're the one that like made all this happen. Okay. So let's get into the podcast a little bit more, like more deep into like what we're trying to do here. So when did you know that you wanted to be an entrepreneur?
So
How's that matcha though before?
it's so good. I'm like slurping it up over
Can I
here.
see it? Like,
Yeah.
It's got this new packaging.
It
So I'm
feels
not
really
sure
good.
about this
I like the new
supplier.
packaging.
I think it's good.
It's a little bit hard to squeeze. I'm like at the end of it, but it's still really good.
Best things in life are hard sometimes. Always be selling.
I didn't know I like wanted to be an entrepreneur. I didn't even know
Yeah.
what that meant.
Yeah.
I kind of just knew growing up that I like to like lead stuff and be in charge. So I was like,
She likes to be in control.
yeah, that's true.
What else is there?
That's true. I just knew that I was like, I see myself like leading stuff. Like I was always like captain of like the soccer team or volleyball team. You know, in student council since I was like second grade. Like I was always like
Overachiever?
something like that.
Are you an
I don't know
overachiever?
if I'd say overachiever because I was kind of a like pretty good / average student, but like my extracurriculars I was like really overzealous about.
Overzealous.
Yeah.
Okay.
And-
Leadership.
Yeah. So I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do, and so like basically.
This is high school? Where are we
Oh,
right
this
now?
is like elementary school when people are
Okay.
like, what are you going to do? I'm like, I don't know, lead a company? I guess that's what like people with this feeling do.
So even in middle school, you were like, I'm going to be a CEO.
Yeah.
Without
I just
knowing
didn't
what
know
CEO
like,
was.
I just didn't even know what that was.
Uh-huh.
So like, when people would ask me like, what do you want to do? I was like, I don't know, maybe business or something. Like I didn't, like I wasn't, educated at the time to understand what that even meant. I just kind of knew that I didn't want to go and like, I think I was also a little stubborn. I didn't want to like go work for other people. My mom
Wait,
worked
are you
for
an
other
Aries
people.
too? I
I'm an
forget.
Aries.
Stubborn.
Aries.
That's what's up.
So my mom worked for other people, and I just felt like it was so annoying, like listening to like her having like all these bosses tell her what to do, and her not being able to like have the flexibility or like freedom to like implement her own ideas and stuff. And I was like, I don't want that. I want to like
Yeah.
do my own thing and just like I've really valued since I was young, like autonomy and creativity. So in high school, I did like a bunch of other stuff that just like allowed me to be creative. We had like a globally competitive yearbook program, which sounds really silly, but we like competed with like literally yearbooks from all around the world. And there was a couple of teams.
This is high school?
This is high school.
Okay.
There's a couple of like coaches that I had that were just literally like ingrained in me to like strive for excellence and leadership in whatever you do. Like I sucked at like sports, not sucked. I was just really hardworking. I just had like no natural athletic talent, but I found myself always in like the captain position, like running the plays, like deciding who to put on the
What
court.
sport? So what are you talking about?
Volleyball, cross country, lacrosse, soccer.
Okay.
And I remember like
4 sports?
the most competitive, well, I stopped soccer in high school, but the most competitive like team I was on was like our high school volleyball team. And the coaches were like we literally had, the coaches were Hawaiian, and we had like kilohana on like all of our clothes and all of our like jackets and stuff, which meant, like, as I understand it, like the strive for excellence. And they had me read a leadership book, and they were like, look, like, you're gonna play, but like the most important thing you're gonna do for this team is like be captain. And
the coaches specifically told you, hey, read this leadership book. You're the leader. Become a better leader.
Yeah, like even
like
before
Kilohana or whatever. I don't know. Kilohana.
Yeah.
Strive for excellence. Kilohana.
Yeah, and then
That's
same thing.
cool.
Same thing with like the yearbook program. It was like really prestigious. I will never forget. I was like, there's like a block of time in your class where you can choose an extracurricular, and so you can, like, your freshman year, you kind of choose, like, do you want to go to student council, which is like where all the popular people go, or do you want to go into this kind of nerdy program, which is like yearbook and publications, right? Like journalism. And that one you have to get invited to, because it's, you can't like go in, you can't just, and no one can just sign up for it. So I got invited to it, but I turned it down because I wanted to be with the popular kids. And the popular kids, the popular
kids. What?
Yeah, about 3 minutes.
And then we're done?
Intermission.
Oh, intermission?
Yeah.
It's been that long?
I told you. I could talk like crazy. Whatever. I'll just finish this one story and then we
So what made you want to become an entrepreneur?
Who was like most inspiring to you guys? So like, it's a good question.
Well, that's what I'm about to say.
Yeah,
like
we're,
my,
like, getting
so like
into
my
it.
coach, my volleyball coaches were like huge. Like all my coaches growing up were really inspiring to me, because I was like, well, maybe I need to be a coach, you know, like maybe that's my role, is like inspiring other people. And then my yearbook advisor, I chose to do student council over yearbook. And so I'm like, during student council, whatever class, I'm like on the floor painting for like homecoming, you know, posters or whatever.
Yeah.
And the advisor comes up to me, the yearbook advisor, who sent me like my personal like invite to come join his like yearbook publication like thing, and I turned it down. He was like, so are you going to tell me that you're going to be for the next 3 years like making silly little like art on
Banners?
paper, like making little flyers, or are you going to be my editor-in-chief senior year? Keep in mind, this is like a very rural, like Northern California school. Like we're literally like future farmers of America, like at the top of that. And so the only smart people that went off to like Ivy League schools were the editors-in-chief of this yearbook. So it was a very prestigious like position that I just never like, I was like, never in a million years would I be that person. But
they sought you out.
Like, he sought me out, and he was like, you need to be the editor. And I was like, seriously? And this was my freshman year, and he
someone
was like,
saw your potential and was like, hey, and they wanted to harvest it.
Exactly.
Okay.
I did become editor-in-chief. We did win all the awards. It was a fantastic, very hard experience. But that
we're gonna have to get some pictures of these awards.
I can show them to you online. I could show you the yearbook.
I'm ready.
But that was like ultimately like inspired me. It was like these people who just like saw a lot of potential in me, and I was like, I feel like I could do that for other people too. You know.
So, how much time we got?
About 30. It's flashing red.
Okay, well, so basically, you had a volleyball coach give you a leadership book because they saw the potential. Then the editor-in-chief position was basically given to you because
like
they
3
saw
years
it.
before
And
it
these,
even.
And these people in high school basically helped cultivate the leader in you. Is that correct? All right. Well, we're gonna take a pee break, bio break, and figure it out.
Bio break. Told you.
So basically, Tori over here was a rock star, middle schooler, early high schooler. Volleyball people saw her potential. Everyone sees your potential.
Yeah, I'm super
And
blessed.
you realized it too.
Yeah.
But they help people, mentors in your life in early childhood, saw your potential, helped you read a book on leadership for the volleyball team, saw your potential to be the editor-in-chief, the biggest responsibility in your school that would send you to Ivy League schools. Did you go to Ivy League school?
Technically, it's not an Ivy League, but it is the top public university in the world. Actually, it was Berkeley.
Berkeley. She went to
I think
Berkeley.
UCLA is now top, but I don't remember. I don't know.
Anyways, so these people nurtured her, pushed her for leadership, and you went after it. And your entrepreneurial journey was, what did you say? It was like, you didn't know what you wanted to do, but you were like, just, your eyes were open.
Yeah, I just kind of knew, like, I didn't know, like, what medium I wanted to go after. Like, what, there wasn't, like, one specific, like, type of problem I wanted to solve. I got really into nutrition. But I also just feel like when you, like, going back into, like, our backgrounds of, like, coming from kind of, like, a dysfunctional family, like, you kind of need people outside of your, like, immediate family to, like, show you opportunities and see your potential in order for you not to just, like, completely, like, nosedive when you leave your hometown. Does that make sense?
I mean, I think our stories are a little different, but
like, for me, I grew up in a very dysfunctional household. There's our fly again.
yeah.
I grew up in a very dysfunctional household, so, like, it really required other people outside of my household to, like, tell me, like, you're good at this, or, like, you should try this. Like, things that I didn't learn in my household.
Yeah.
And I was, like, really open to it, you know? Like, if you're closed off to it, you're not going to learn, but you shouldn't really,
So, like, let's hear about this. So it seems like the teachers knew about the dysfunctional family. Is that what you're saying?
I don't
like,
know.
What do you mean?
It's a good question. I don't really know.
I don't think at my high school, I don't think that the teachers wanted to get involved there. I mean, I went to an all private boys school in Texas, like, but and I don't think many people were, like, trying to make me a leader in high school. I had, like, I would,
you
like,
were in, like, sports and stuff, right?
I mean, I was in sports, but I was never, like, the captain. I was always, like, I was the guy that was, like, the utility knife in every sport I played, where it's like, if a starter got hurt, they would give me 3 days to learn the position, and I would, like, do it, like, in every sport. I was the, maybe it's because I, like, grew up ranching and stuff. Like, I'm like a blue collar guy to a degree, and I loved, like, doing the dirty work that's, like, unpraised, and, like, I also had ability too, and so, like, they'd be like, all right, well, let's just do Hawkins to do that, and I would do it, and it, like,
that's
I
so
would
good
excel.
for entrepreneurship, though.
Adaptability and pivoting,
100%.
like, that was part of it too. But, like, I also have this, like, funny story of, like, I became a National Merit Presidential Scholar in high school, like, for basically taking a test.
Smarty pants.
I was, like, really smart, apparently, based on the test. And, like, I remember there was this one play, and, like, I've never been good at following direction. Like, I never really felt like I learned how to be normal. Like, just to be honest, that's me. This is my experience. And, like, there was this one play in, like, football where, like, I guess they kept telling me what to do, and I'm like, yeah, I got it. But, like, I'd be playing football, and I'd be, like, looking at jet planes, thinking about, like, how, like, the physics is going. Like, I'm the kid that was, like,
Maybe that's called ADD.
I mean, I have ADD. Like, that's, like, part of, I think a lot of entrepreneurs maybe have that. But, like, I had really bad ADD. Like, I remember, like, looking at the flagpole during, like, sports, like, practice, and being, like, seeing the way the flag was oscillating with the wind, and being like, there's mathematical, like, equations to make this. I don't know. This is how my brain works. Like, I'll see refractions in light and think about, like, oh, there's science that explains everything. But yeah, I wasn't following the direction of, like, which way to go. And I just remember my coach being like, Hawkins, like, you're the smartest kid on this team. Why can't you do the play? And then, like, he's like, do it again. And he told me what to do.
Why can't you run the right way?
And so then I ran the wrong way again. And I was just like, I don't know. That's probably why I'm an entrepreneur, is because I don't really follow direction, like, the best.
Yeah.
But I also just like to do things my own way. Like,
100%. I like that. It's funny you tell that story, because I remember, like, when I was really young, this
is a funny story.
It is a funny story. It's a very quintessential Hawkins story.
It was very shaming. It was very, like, in front of the whole team, they were like, the coach is like, you're the smartest kid and you can't even do a simple thing. And I'm like, oh man, this is, like, existential right here.
What did you think in that moment?
I was just embarrassed. It was embarrassing.
Wide receiver?
No, I was playing guard. Basically, it was like a guard play, and I had to, like, pull pull out an elite block for this guy who played in the NFL eventually, Sam Acho.
Oh my God.
And Emmanuel Acho, who's like
that's
now on
crazy.
top of like NFL, like ESPN. They're all like famous like broadcasters now.
Oh my God.
And yeah, I like didn't. I mean, I would like do the play, and I would like put people on the ground, like 2 people, and I'm like, I did my job, and they're like, you went the wrong way, and I'm like, damn it. But it was 10 years later, people will come back to me. Remember that day that happened to you? And he like just like totally just like shamed you. I don't know why I'm bringing this up. This is what a podcast is. You like, bring up like childhood trauma stories.
No, I remember. I feel like it's a theme that you and I have.
I think I got it.
I don't know. Did you get the fruit fly? I feel like I have that too. I remember when I was younger, like I grew up with 3 siblings. We all played instruments, and I played the violin. And then when my mom and dad split, we couldn't afford our like lessons anymore. But I like tried to learn. I was like really little. I was like 5, and I tried to learn. My older brother also played the violin, so I remember like core memory going to him after I learned a song. And I learned it. No, my brother.
Okay.
After I learned a song on my own without lessons, like just from memory of what I learned like in lessons, right?
Dang.
Like not properly like doing things, obviously. So I go to him, I play it by ear, right? I hear it and I play it.
Wow.
And then I go to my brother like, "Hey, I learned this song. Isn't it awesome?" I don't think this fly is going to just live.
I think
And he's like, "Dude, you played all the wrong chords. Like, it sounds
chords?
correct." Yeah, like all the wrong.
Violin's normally like 1 note at a time.
You played all the wrong notes, whatever it was. I stopped playing the violin,
was mean.
obviously. He was just being like, it sounded okay, but it's incorrect. And I was like, who gives a fuck? Like, it was my way of learning how to do it, you know?
I commend you on that.
But it's same thing where it's just like I knocked the guy over, like you know what I mean? It's like I can't follow the rules.
Yeah.
Like just get out of my brain. I did my thing, you know.
Yeah.
And I feel like in entrepreneurship, another thing with like managing people is like sometimes people don't think like that. Sometimes people just need to like know how to get from point A to like point B to point C.
Yeah.
And like as an entrepreneur, you have to be the one doing all the crazy shit in your head, but then also like deciding who on your team is going to be the one who's like just needs to get from point A to point B, and then the one who's also like crazy in the mind and can do creative stuff.
Yeah. So this is like bringing me to my MBA experience.
Okay.
Because like I love UCLA and I love everyone in my MBA, but a lot of the people I found aren't entrepreneurs.
They're academics.
I would say most of the people in the MBA, 95% are not. Like it's a lot of people. The MBA was a great thing for me, and I don't think I would have become an entrepreneur without going to that. But it's middle management. Like a lot of people go to MBA to become a better manager, leader, in a corporate setting where there is like you go to point A to point B to point C to point D. But like with entrepreneurship, you got to go from point A to point Z. Yeah. With no rocket fuel, with no game plan. It's just like you have to go with an intuition and like try to figure out things on like there's no path.
Right.
There is paths so you can talk to people.
There's a path, but you're making the path. Like you're riding the roller coaster as you're creating the roller coaster.
Yeah, like canned wine is like it's still kind of a new thing, right? Like
yeah, but I mean any product, like any business. Like if you're an entrepreneur, finding ways to make it work, finding ways to build a brand that means something or solve a problem uniquely, like you're gonna have to think differently than most people.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to bend some rules. Like you're gonna have to do things that most people wouldn't do.
Yeah.
But the reality is,
what's the reality?
You need those most people.
The people that can go to point A to point B.
The people who like are managers, the people who like can just like turn the gears of the machine, because eventually your startup is going to need just machine turning, you know?
Yeah. No, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just I'm not that guy. I'm very abstract thinker, like kind of guy. And
did you feel like you were? Did you feel like you were an outcast at UCLA?
I've been an outcast my whole life. So
if you didn't,
like
feel
even
like
me and you right here, I feel like an outcast.
Why?
I'm just joking. But no, me and you are homies. But like I'm just built different.
Yes, you are built like
I know I'm built different.
like no other human being, but also like just another like Maui
Maui Wowie.
Maui memory.
No Maui Wowie was smoked. Find me at least. What's up?
I remember. Okay, so I told you the first night was great.
Second night was terrible.
No, it wasn't. Every night was fantastic. You're lying. So I remember the next day, I was just like, this is going to be interesting. Like, you know, like when you wake up, it's kind of like, it's kind of awkward. You know, you've got bedhead. Everybody wakes up kind of at different hours. It's like, is this person a morning person or not? You know, like, okay, like we all got to get ready. Like you all got to like go to the bathroom and stuff. So it's like I'm like, kind of like, okay, how is this going to go? Like literally 5 strangers waking up at the same time in one house.
Yeah.
And I just remember like the first morning waking up, we were all kind of like getting up, kind of getting like coffee together and stuff. And you come out with like a speaker, brushing your teeth and like shaking your ass like in just your swimsuit, just being like, you ready to go? And like hyping everybody up.
Hawaii.
And I was like, this is going to be great. Every day.
I think I'd already like worked out.
You set the tone very well.
I can be a tone setter.
Yeah, I think for that trip it was perfect.
That trip was awesome. Okay, so where are we in this? You're the what's up? What do you think?
The timekeeper.
We got Connor back here.
About some of both your products and like what makes you so passionate in terms of it's grind, it's difficult.
So I want to go into Berkeley. So like. You got kind of groomed, you became a leader, you got into the best college in California potentially.
Well,
debatable, but then at some point, instead of going to business school, you went into nutrition, and then you went to nutrition and you started a company based upon nutrition. Let's hear about that, the story behind that. That would be interesting to me.
Yeah, so like in high school, like I said, didn't know what I wanted to do, just kind of knew like I could handle leadership positions in whatever it was. Mm-hmm. So I went to Berkeley.
Okay.
First of all, I was not the best student. Like I got straight A's, but only because I like killed myself for straight A's. I was not like one of those kids that like could show up and was like just super academic. I had to study hard.
Yeah.
So I studied hard for my grades. My SAT scores were like not super good. So I was like not thinking I was going to get into the top schools, and I was only applying to school in California. So I was just very pessimistic applying to colleges. When I got my first letter back, it was from UCLA, and I was like, there's no way I'm getting into a better school. This is amazing. This is a dream come true. I accepted. I picked my roommate, and I just like was like
to UCLA for undergrad.
To UCLA for undergrad.
Okay.
And then a week later, I got an acceptance letter for Berkeley, and I was like, this is a joke. Like, there's no way Berkeley accepted me. This is crazy to me. My brother went to Berkeley.
Did the editor person write you a letter of recommendation or something?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, so.
All my mentors did.
Okay. Mentors.
I just didn't think that I was like academically.
Do you think your mentors had like sorry, we're gonna segue.
Yeah.
It seems like your mentors had a very big role in your life. Like
huge.
Not only did they like make you a leader, they also like got you more opportunities as well.
Absolutely.
So what is the lesson here?
Go seek out mentors. Get people's attention. Like I tell my interns, I'm like, I honestly don't really give a shit what you do. Like you can find creative ways to get involved. Like we'll give you tasks. You get to choose your task. But like if I remember your name and I remember who you are at the end of your internship, that's the most important thing.
Yeah.
Like regardless of whether you necessarily did it right, if I saw something in you that made me be like, I want that person. Like if I was like, that person sucks so hard at all, like, I don't know, social media stuff. But you know what? That person is like, can sell like crazy.
Yeah.
Like, but I would never put that person in front of like a camera for social media. Like, I'll remember that, you know? Like, I was just like, just give me something to remember. Just be memorable to me, and we'll figure out something for you after this internship.
And so like when you find an employee, for me, I like guys that can do it all. But like at the same time, people have limitations.
Right.
But you're basically saying when you find like an intern or whatever, and they're really good at that one thing, you just like double down on that thing with them.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
But
how would you recommend someone to find a mentor?
Dude, like warm intros are the best, like if you know someone who knows somebody, but also literally just going out and like talking to people, like in like, you know, like let's just say you're in school, like go talk to your professor after class.
Yeah.
They might not give a shit about you, but then you do it again, the next professor might give a shit about you, you know?
Yeah.
And then that professor might introduce you to somebody. Like, people love it. I almost got it. People love enthusiasm. And so when you're enthusiastic about life and about like your own potential, and especially when you don't have direction, right? Because you're just like, I don't know, put me in, coach. Like, let me do whatever.
Put me in,
people get really excited about that, you know? And so I think that was just my attitude. And so just having a good attitude, being very open, literally seeking for mentorship. Like I've had people, like I remember going out and asking people like explicitly, hey, I think I need a mentor. Like, could you offer me an hour of your time, like per month? You know, that was like my standard. I think I asked, and there's a lot of people that I've started mentorships with.
But that's like a formal agreement for mentorship. That's like after you've talked.
Sure, that's like after you network, and that's why networking is so important, because networking is just like initiating a potential relationship.
Yeah, I remember when I was starting YoBe and I was like trying to figure out like manufacturing for shelf stability. I leveraged being a student, and if you're a student, like totally play the student card. And like 100%. I've also like sometimes when I film content now, I pretend to be a student. Like people will just like film it. I'm like, it's for a school project, which YoBe was kind of a school project to begin with. So it's always gonna be a school project, School of Hard Knocks. But I like would like literally go on LinkedIn and direct message all the founders and CEOs of pouch companies, like baby pouch companies, because there's not many pouch companies. And I'd be like, hey, I'm a student at MBA and I'm really interested in starting a business. I'm in farmers markets. Like, I'd love to get advice, or if you know anyone else that could give me advice about starting a business. Because another thing I like to do is to ask, not just say, hey, I'd love your time, but like, do you know anyone else?
Right.
Because if you ask them to like point you in the right direction, it's not even like, it's not as direct. It's kind of an indirect, it's a kind of psychology trick I do. But like, people might
like,
be,
oh, I can do that for you.
No, I'll do it, fine, no problem. But like, but even if they can't and they know someone better, it opens that door too. So I'll always like to be like, hey, I'm trying to do this. I see you're great at it. I would love your advice. But if you know anyone else, that would be great too. And like playing that card, like I ended up talking to like, say I reached out to like 5. I talked to like 3 CEOs of like companies that have like $50 million revenue, and they like, because people want to help people.
Also, people love talking about themselves, and so you kind of have to like feed into that psychology too, to be like, hey, I've seen what you've done. I would love to hear your story in person. Would you give me 15 minutes to tell me your story?
Yes.
And then they get into their story and they get excited, right? And then their enthusiasm is flowing and they're like, wait, why am I telling you like my story? What's your story? And then all of a sudden they're like, they switch and there's like a relationship and they're like, okay, I'm going to help figure this person out, because you get them excited about their own thing, that they're reminded of like that time when they started or whatever.
Like, these are people, like all the, like even Elon Musk is a person. I mean, he might be a little different than most people, but like all these people started somewhere, and they all had people help them. And I know in the food industry, especially because it is the toughest industry, I like to say it, but like it's one of the toughest industries. Like, you have to have had help along the way. No one got to wherever they got without someone helping them, and that's why when someone wants help from me, I always say yes, because so many other people took a call, gave me advice when they didn't have to, and like I think it's just, you pay it forward.
But that's the thing, is like those people that we talk to, like they had someone answer the phone. They had people like, if you put yourself out there, and that's like what I love about the entrepreneurial spirit, is just like, it's really just about like connecting with people, finding out people's problems, like really understanding problems and wanting to solve them and getting excited about it, and then getting other people excited about it. Like, that's really what it's all about. And so that's why all my life I was just like, I don't know the medium, I just know that I want to be in a position where I get to create, and I get to kind of live my life how I want to live my life, and I want to like inspire other people.
I want to just do one anecdote. Like, so Steve Jobs, I think he was like 12 or something. He was like trying to build like a circuit board thing with IBM parts, and he like literally pulled out the phone directory, found the CEO of IBM, and called him and said, "Hey, my name's Steve Jobs. I'm 12, and I need more parts to build something. Could I have any of your spare parts that like would be not useful anymore?" And literally the IBM guy said, "Yeah, of course," and like talked to him. And then the next summer he offered like a 13-year-old Steve Jobs a job.
That's amazing. I mean, I had a very similar situation happen to me even in the midst of my entrepreneurship journey, which was like, we were totally struggling last year with just our canned wine SKUs because for a lot of reasons I won't go into. We were struggling, and I couldn't for the life of me get into any chains, and basically that particular category in the market was down like 20% like multiple years in a row, and so it was a really bad timing that I came into the company with it. Long story short, I emailed every CEO of every of Whole Foods, of Total Wine, of BevMo. Like I direct messaged them on LinkedIn.
The
CEOs. And I was just like,
they have no category buying decision.
No decision
but they
making.
can influence it. They can influence it.
And I basically said, I'm struggling with my product. Can you give me some advice?
Feedback.
Just give me some advice.
Advice. Okay.
Like how do I get into your store?
Yeah.
Basically.
What happened?
Only one responded.
One.
It was the CEO of Total Wine, and he said, have you talked to the so-and-so people yet? That's the best way to have
the category buyers. Basically, is that what you're saying?
Basically, the category buyers, as well as a couple of people outside of category buying that I don't know why he looped me in with them, but he did.
Okay.
And this was over a year ago. Had conversations with them, right?
So you followed up. You took his advice.
Followed up, took his advice, had one-on-one conversations with those buyers, which is normally what you go to anyways, like in this food and beverage industry. It's like you go straight to the buyer, you pitch the buyer. So I ended up having a conversation with the buyer.
Pitched to all the time.
All the time.
Like they don't respond to emails.
They don't want to talk to you.
Yeah, because everyone wants to talk to them.
And so talked to the category buyers, got some actually great advice from them, which actually lended like the decision to launch this product, not just Total Wine. I did talk to other buyers too, because when I went back to the buyers that had already said no to me flat out for our canned wine product, I came back to them with this idea, and I said, hey, I have an idea for a hard seltzer made with organic wine. Should I call it this, this, or this? Like I went to them with literally just like one advice question, being like, if I were to do this, what should I call it? Yeah. Every single one of them responded within an hour. I'm talking Whole Foods buyer, BevMo buyer, Total Wine, like all these people who basically told me to politely fuck off.
When you're saying, hey, sell my shit.
Exactly. I literally was just like, look, I hear you. You don't want that product. I have a new product idea, just an idea. If I were to go with it, what should I call it? So they all weighed in.
So basically, instead of saying, would you sell this, you were like, hey, if you were going to be a decision maker for a brand like me, what would you make it? Would you make it this and this? And then they all said they really wanted their voice to be heard because they have opinions.
100%.
And you were respecting their opinion, so you were going to them for their opinion. And then, because everyone wants their opinion like to be heard to a degree, right?
Also, they get pitched shit all the time, and they see what sells and what doesn't sell. And so, like, when you go to a buyer and you're like, tell me what I should make. They're like, oh, okay, here you go. Like, here's exactly what's selling right now, and here's exactly what you should make, right? So, I don't know if, like, us currently being Total Wine has anything to do with me reaching out to the CEO. I don't.
Probably.
I mean, who knows? Yeah. But I think that definitely, like, it just goes to show, like, you can always shoot your shot. Because you never know who's going to resonate with your messaging. And you never know where that's going to take you years down the line. Like, this conversation was over a year ago.
It takes time. So, like, another thing that I've experienced is, like, it's sometimes hard to get, like, feedback from these buyers that, like, would say no. Like, they just don't respond and don't know. But, like, going into it saying, I have an idea, like, what do you think about this? If you were going to change anything, what would you change? That was more conducive to getting a personal opinion and feedback, which then helped you. Because, like, for my business, I've always been super into, like, the Amazon model of, like, consumer feedback loop. I feel like every company, like, that's the most important. And, like, your buyer, that's the buyer loop. I guess the consumer loop is like who they sell to, but they know them better they know their consumers better than we probably would to a degree. And so, but basically getting that feedback is super important for any business. Like I just always that's why I'm still in the show right now is like, if you have a product, get feedback, get people's professional and customer feedback. Cause at the end of the day, you're selling to these people. All right, so we just tried to do Instagram Live, and I'm above 35, and that means I don't know what the hell I'm doing.
No,
it's our first podcast.
Our Gen Z friend called immediately and said, "What the fuck are you trying to do? Please do not do this."
Yeah, he was like, "Hey, it's Wednesday night. Like that's stupid. Like no one cares." Anyways, I care. Okay, so let's talk about. Okay, so. You were in MBA doing Drink Light, which I don't think we talked enough about. Do you want to give some bullet points on that, or are we over it?
Well,
what's up with Drink Light? What's up with Drink Light? Actually, let's talk about that.
I actually can't talk about it right now.
Okay, that's probably a good thing.
It's a good thing, yeah.
Okay, cool.
No, you asked me going into Berkeley, you were talking about how whatever, I got into Berkeley, and then how did I go from Berkeley into the startup world?
Yeah, exactly.
So I was really insecure, didn't think I was going to get into schools. I got into Berkeley. I rescinded from UCLA, accepted at Berkeley. Literally immediately thought I was just going to fail.
Yeah.
Because I was I'm not just academic. I'm very extracurricular. I'm, you know what I mean? I'm that type of student. I'm not sit down, take a test, and that's what Berkeley really is.
Yeah.
So literally my first test, I got a 30 out of 100. And I was told you so. I'm going to fail this shit, right? Mm-hmm. And I called my brother who went to Berkeley and encouraged me to go there. He was like, I think you're gonna be fine. I was like, no, I'm not. That's an F. I got most of the problems wrong. He was like, no, literally just wait for the curve. And I was like, what does that even mean? It ended up being a B-.
Nice.
Because of the curve. So I was like, all right, whatever. I'll stick it out. I didn't know what to study. Mm-hmm. So I was like, this was dumb. I studied what I wanted to learn, which was I wanted to learn how to speak French. So I studied a bunch of French, and I studied about broad French.
What? I'm just kidding.
So I just was I'm going to study a bunch of French, and then you had to take math for various reasons.
French are good at math.
So I was and I ended up literally doing 2 years of purely French and math, which was okay, now I'm basically
French
on my way to a math major and a French minor. And I was I don't know if I can do this. And I literally remember
you're a mathematician?
Dude, crazy,
I don't
right?
feel like
it doesn't fit me at all. So halfway through.
So how did that happen?
I had really good teachers at that point in math, and I was excited about it.
What kind of math do you like?
I think we were going into I don't even remember the name of it, but it was called differential equations. Yeah, that type of stuff, some multivariable calculus or whatever.
Multivariable calculus.
I think that's what it was, and I had fun doing it.
You liked it.
It got to the point where it was there's no more numbers.
So are you right brain or left brain then? This is a good.
I think I'm just a middle brain. I think I'm down.
I think I'm both too.
Brain. I don't think I'm one or the other, because I'm not the most creative person either.
I mean, you're pretty creative.
Whatever.
And so you were taking French and math, and then you decided to go into nutrition?
My advisor sent me an email and was you need to choose a major. You're 2 years into your college degree. What are you doing? Mm-hmm. And so you have to declare, right? And I was well, shit. And I kind of had an existential crisis, because I was I don't know what I want to do. And then I had a conversation with a few people, again, mentors and things like that. Mm-hmm. They were what are you passionate about? What are you most curious about?
Yeah.
And I had actually grown up with an eating disorder all my life.
Oh, yeah?
And so it made me obsessed with
what kind of eating disorder?
Food.
Sorry.
Basically a failed bulimic.
What's a failed bulimic?
It's when basically you get really anxious, because a lot of eating disorders is just mental health disorders that you try and solve with food.
Uh-huh.
So I was very anxious as a child. I would hide and I would eat thousands of calories of food to the point where I was gonna throw up. And then I would try and make myself throw up, but for some reason I don't really have a gag reflex, and so I could never force myself to throw up. So I was a failed bulimic, and so I was just kind of chunky.
Is this a real thing, or is this just
It's called a binge eating disorder.
But you wanted to binge, but you couldn't. Oh,
no,
you would
no. I was binging. I wasn't purging.
Yeah.
Like purging is the bulimia
but
part.
you had the intention to purge.
I had the intention, but I was a failure.
Like, how many times did you fail at purging to like, figure it out that like you weren't going to be able to?
Basically, I mean, I still tried till, you know.
She mentioned she was a stubborn Aries. This is, maybe this is why you're an entrepreneur. Like, you just love to hit your head against the wall. Like, I mean, you kind of have to be like a little bit of fucking crazy to be a fucking entrepreneur, because you're just going to get, I always say, get ready to get punched in the face.
Again,
like, you get punched in the face over and over again with a smile. Okay, cool, let's keep going. Like, we'll figure this out. Like,
whatever. So my interest in food / like figuring out like I don't want to deal with this sickness anymore made me like, what if I just study nutrition? And I was like, okay, so I went to the advisor and I was like, well, there's a nutrition science major to become a dietitian, basically. It's like a 4-year plan.
Yeah.
And she was like, well, that's the point. It's a 4-year plan and you're 2 years in. Like, you don't have time to finish this. I was like, nonsense. I'm sure there's a way.
I'm Tori
And so
Brodsky.
she was like, well, you can technically go take all of your like lower classes, like all the prerequisites for this at a community college.
Yeah.
And then you can come back into Berkeley and transfer back in and finish the degree here and take all your upper level classes here. So I was like, yeah, sure. Can I go to any California community college? She's like, yes, any California community college. So I was like, I want to move to LA because I was sick of the clouds of the Bay Area and I wanted sunshine. So I signed up for all of my classes at like 5 different community colleges in LA. Some were like remote. That's how I could do it. And so I pretty much got like all my undergrad like stuff, like
so
prerequisites.
You did like 2 undergrads.
Basically. And so I got all my prereqs done in 1 semester. But the funny thing that's how I got my job, my first job out of college that I actually dropped out for, which was I was waitressing, and I got this table of these 2 women. One of them asked me if I was an actress, and I was like, no, I'm actually a nutrition student. She's like, no shit, I actually just joined a startup company that builds apps for people with food allergies, and I really need an intern. Like, would you be willing to be an intern? I was like, yes, but like the bad news is I have to go back up to like Berkeley in like 3 months. I'm only here for a little bit. She's like, that's totally fine. So I ended up working remotely, getting my degree, and then I ended up working for that as my first company. It was like a startup. It was a startup that like helped people scan packaged food products to see if it may contain either allergens or migraine triggers.
Migraine triggers?
Yeah, or added sugars before like the added sugar part of the label was like required.
That's
like it highlighted like if it was like a box of cereal, it might be like it might be like...
You scan the barcode.
It might be like dextrose. Yeah, you scan the barcode, and it might have like 100 ingredients, and it will highlight all the ingredients that are like basically secret for sugar.
So then how did that like come into like you starting Drink Light?
Between that and me starting Drink Light, I basically, like, I dropped out for that company, and I ended up going back to school because I knew I wanted to eventually get my MBA. I went and started consulting for companies that were like funded, but like in their between like seed and Series A. So I basically said, like, I can help you solve problems. Like, that's what I learned to do at the startup that I did. I was basically just like a fixer. I was like, whatever problems you guys have, I'll figure out the resources and just like go.
That's an entrepreneur.
Yeah. So I was. My job title that I used was like fractional COO, where I was like, come in, help with the operations.
Fractional CEO?
Fractional COO.
Chief Operating Officer.
Chief Operating Officer.
Fractional.
And so I did that for quite a few companies while also moonlighting my own companies. So before Drink Light, I started multiple small companies that essentially failed, meaning I quit, like I just dropped. And the last one I dropped, I was like a cosmetics invention and like a patent that I created, and I basically found out like I wouldn't be able to, like, after months and months of trying, I wasn't going to get the funding I needed for the injection mold that I needed to create this. And so I just got really upset, and I was like, fuck it, I'm never going to become like an entrepreneur. I'm never going to like I'm never going to be able to like do this. Like I've tried again and again, and this was kind of like the last straw. I was like, I'm tired. So I went out drinking with a bunch of friends, and I don't normally drink. And so they were like, remember the Pedialyte? And I was like, why are we getting like this artificially like stuffed like this solution for babies? Like there should be something for adults that helps you recover from alcohol. And that's when I came up with the idea for Drink Light and basically started it right away.
So you were frustrated, went out drinking to
ease
your pain, you're morose, and one of your friends was talking about Pedialyte. You were a nutritionist. You looked at the label and you're like, this has a bunch of artificial shit besides electrolytes.
Yeah.
Why can't this be for adults as well?
Yeah.
Because I took Pedialyte in college when I drank. Like, it was like, all right, this is going to help me out. And so then you created Drink Light, which is a healthy, natural version of Pedialyte.
Correct. And it was the first one that was in a can. And then basically
COVID happened, right?
First, like, quote unquote, somewhat success. Like I actually started making revenue. And then COVID happened.
Bars closed.
I was selling to bars. And I had to pivot to e-commerce with the powders, which is why I went to... The powders are great. Which is why I went and did my MBA, because I was like, I have no experience in e-commerce in this type of business. And so like, I'm going to go and learn. And then halfway through my MBA, I was actually fundraising for Drink Light when I got the offer to go work for Besa and take over this company and basically make it my own. So
basically the summary is you started Drink Light, COVID happened, you went to your MBA to pivot to figure out e-com, and then Drink Light was growing and you were fundraising, and through that fundraising process of connecting and networking, an opportunity came into your lap to take over an existing business with more revenue, more responsibility, and you're going to be a CEO and have more money. Because the startup life is I don't make that much money. I'm actually in debt. But
no, I mean, look, I'm not like, this isn't, if we were to both do the things we were doing before, which was me consulting and you doing real estate, like you and I would be in much better financial positions at the moment. But the thing is that like the whole reason why you create a startup is like to grow your own personal net worth with something that you believe is going to be very valuable someday. So like, I too make a lot less than like what I should be making as like an MBA and like my age and all that stuff, but it's because that money that could be going to me personally is going into the company. And like I came into Besa as like a CEO for hire, so I wasn't necessarily a founder making those sacrifices, but I put my founder hat on and I acted like a founder, and I now own a lot more of the company because of that, which wasn't the original plan. Like, or maybe it was. It was my original plan. I don't know if the founders like necessarily saw me taking it over fully like this.
This is interesting. I know this. So basically, another thing is like, I just want to say like when you start a business, like it seems glamorous. CEO, founder, titles mean nothing. You're going to basically be in debt. You're going to have no free time. You're going to be working 18 hours a day. No girlfriend's gonna like you or boyfriend.
Look, I mean, some people make money right off the bat with like their small business. Like a lot of people who are like,
it can happen.
Influencers or entrepreneurs online with like shops and things like that can make like a pretty penny for themselves. Like, and that's great. I think when you're building a brand, especially in this space, it takes so much more time to like really see the return, to really start to see profits where you can pay yourself adequately, unless you're getting outside funding all the time, you know, like, which you haven't taken on any funding.
No.
Which is wild. Like,
it's terrible.
Why haven't you taken on funding?
It's kind of like what we're talking about. Like, I really believe in myself. And like, even though we're not making a lot of money right now, like, I have a vision, and like I believe in my vision, and I don't want to like take on investors that are like trying to make a bunch of revenue right now. I want to like see my vision in the way that I want to build it, and I'm doing some cool things that like even today, like I mean, the amount of information I've learned, like I mean, I formulated my stuff by not taking money. Like I've had to figure out everything myself, which has made me like, I don't want to say expert, but like to most people's standards, I'd be an expert in manufacturing.
Like you could, if you wanted to, like, God forbid, if you had to stop YoBe today, you could make money literally teaching other people how to do this or formulating other people's
Well,
problems.
that's why we're doing this podcast, because I want to teach people about the entrepreneurial journey and like inspire people to be awesome and like create their own things and like really teach them about like what it really takes and like the dark days and inspire them to continue going forth, because like you're gonna have dark days. Like you've had plenty, I've had plenty, but like if you believe in yourself and your vision of reality that is also getting validation feedback loops from like customers, buyers and things like that, like keep going. But also talk to mentors. Like I talk to mentors and like I'm like, look dude, I'm not making any money, what the hell? And like the truth is, in the food industry, 95% of businesses fail. And so like you have to like tell a story to investors and to these retailers of why they should believe in your product. And like, you know, some of the stories that I've created so far are pretty compelling. And that's one of the reasons why when I get these offers for investment, I'm saying no, because well, another thing is I want to de-risk it. Like we have some big things coming in the next like 6 months with YoBe that like if I fundraise after I've completed this, which I'm going to, like the amount of equity I would have to give up is a lot less. I just like pain and suffering. Like I feel like I'm a little sadomasochistic, and like I think you kind of have to really be able to like hold pain, hold fear to start a business. And then I think that's one of the reasons like these entrepreneurial like teachers talk about, a lot of entrepreneurs come from dysfunctional like families to a degree. My family's great, don't get me wrong, but like there's a little dysfunction. Like our pain tolerance is generally higher than most because of like, there's no normal childhood, but like because of that, our ability to hold anxiety, fear, and like also read between the lines and like learn how to like see people, and like has given me some abilities to like extract information. I feel like a little bit. I'm pretty good at extracting information. I
also think that like with growing up in those types of environments, like they get you really used to and also kind of like comfortable with chaos. And for the most part, like the startup life is so chaotic because also, and you're the one who's like manufacturing the chaos, right? Like you're the one who's like, I have this idea, let me go out and do it. And then all of a sudden you're like, this is so chaotic and crazy, like what am I doing? You know, but like that's the type of personality that goes out and does that thing.
And I think there's like an aspect of controlled chaos, and it's like the chaos exists, like the world is chaos to a general, but like we have to learn to like take the chaos and like kind of like the middle manager people, like take it from point A to point B and like kind of like take the chaos and like see where it's going and keep moving it forward towards either your reality that you initially had, or with the new information to say, okay, well actually we're going to go this direction. Which is kind of like the hard seltzer thing you did. Right. Like you were like through the controlled chaos decided, okay, we're not just canned wine, we're wine seltzer canned wine. Right. So I think we should wrap it up pretty soon, but like I also like wanted to, how are we on time?
We're good.
Okay, so like part of like what I want to also do is like the YoBeAwesome thing. It's like, what do you like? What is something that you like? It's like, what is something? Where do you see yourself in 5 to 10 years? That's it. Like.
I mean, I'm already in my 30s, so I think like into my mid to late 30s, like not necessarily that it has to do anything with my age, but as a woman it does, because like I do want to have a family, like I do want to, that's something that like as a woman you have to consider, because it's just inevitable. Your clock is ticking. So I would like to get my business in 5 years to a place where I have national distribution, and we're looking towards, you know, potential suitors for an exit. Like I would love to really exit this business. I think it's a business that has a good potential for an exit. I don't necessarily want to run this business for the next 10, 20, 30 years. I would like to be on to something new in the next decade. And I think that 5 years is very reasonable for that.
For an exit.
I think 10 years is extremely conservative even. But in this climate,
conservative,
like it's you don't really know.
You never know.
You never know.
Control chaos.
That's where I like to be, and I think in 10 years I'd like to be doing something even in a different industry, as crazy as that sounds. Like I would love to like mentor in this industry, but there's other industries that I'm super curious about that I think I would want to create in as well.
So basically you're hoping to get a 5-year exit, a family, and then you want to take your entrepreneurial hat and put it into a different industry. What industry are you like, what are like 3 industries you're interested in?
I think that I really would like to explore film and television.
You want to produce movies? What does that even mean? Be an actress like the lady?
No. I don't want to be in front of the camera. I want to be telling stories, like behind the camera. And I have absolutely zero experience with that. However, not that this is a reason to necessarily like make a career change out of, but I watched the show The Offer, which is the making of The Godfather, and the experience with
Francis Ford Coppola.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and that whole story about how like the producer and the director like the director's so artistic and has this wonderful vision, and the producer is like the.
He sells wine, by the way.
Francis Ford Coppola. Yeah. Coppola. That just really made me... I
used to drink his wine. I used to thought Coppola? It was pretty good.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
They're huge.
Yeah.
So I think that is something that I'm A, interested in, and B, I think that I really would like to get back and to focus on my like creative... Like, I would like to take my skills and put them in a more creative like storytelling role, I guess you can say. So I have zero idea what that looks like, but whenever I talk to people who are in the industry, I get so excited and stoked that I'm like, I think maybe my later years later in my career include something with that. With
telling entrepreneurial stories, or what kind of stories?
I honestly don't know. I think I just like the idea of film and television, and I mean, look, this could be a total fluke, but I think that telling the entrepreneurial story is really important. I think it's the most inspiring story. I think that leadership is a very important like story and concept that most people, even who go to like and get their MBA, still don't really. They can't really say like what it is. Like they can't always even like act on it, and I think it's something that can be taught and should be talked about, and I think that that's something that I would love to like dedicate the rest of my life to.
You know, I think we should end it here, but it's a beautiful ending because when you were in high school, you had the volleyball coaches come to you and say, here's a leadership book. Then you also had the yearbook editor say, hey, tell the story of high school to all the kids. So that's very similar to what you're talking about. I'm getting goosebumps. Very similar to what she's talking about, and like for her like final, probably not your final, but the next thing you really want to do is tell stories of leadership.
Yeah.
And it's so funny that it comes full circle how some mentors in your life are like inspiring you to, one, be the amazing woman you are today, and she's fantastic. You got to try out her Besa wine. It's fantastic. There's a crazy events you should go to. You'll see them. They're very fun. And she's done that to help build this brand, and she's done a fantastic job of like building an actual brand equity. There was none before she came, from my perspective. But it's so fun to see people that inspired her to grow and become a leader, and then at the end of the day, it sounds like you're going to be giving back and doing the same thing. And so it goes full circle to saying, like, at the end of the day, it seems like we're all paying it back. Yeah. Like, we're all, like, we give it because someone gave it to us, and we're going to give it back. Yeah. And, like, that's a beautiful thing, and I hope you tell a lot of great stories.
Yeah.
And whatever you do, I'm here for you, and I love you. I want to give you a hug. Thanks for doing my first podcast.
Yay, I'm so proud of you.
Be Awesome Podcast, episode 1.
By
done.
YoBe.
Where's this fly at? Let's get rid of it.
There's 2.
All right.
I think there was like a lot of good